The depths of Michael Jackson's humanitarianism is a topic that is still being explored, as Michael helped a lot of people throughout the course of his lifetime. What many people still don't realize to this day is that Michael saw himself as something of a global ambassador of humanity. And with that responsibility, he believed that it was his duty to protect and look out for children first and foremost. Let's now take a look at a recording of Michael that was taken by his doctor, Conrad Murray, sometime in the 2000s. This recording was done without his consent, and it should be noted that Michael was under the influence of prescription drugs within this recording due to serious injuries that he had suffered over the years, such as the Pepsi burn in 1984, for example. So, knowing this should give you some insight into Dr. Murray's personality and his values and beliefs because, once again, he recorded Michael in this state without his knowledge. Nonetheless, you still get an opportunity to see what was truly important to Michael at the core of his beliefs, which was helping the children of our world. Let's take a listen.
Michael Jackson to the hospital. You have a movie theater, game room, children, and depressed. In those hospitals, the game room, the movie theater, they're sick because they're depressed. The mind is depressing them. I want to give them that. I care about them. They're angels. God wants me to do it. I'm going to do that for them.
So, this part of the conversation just might be the most important because what Michael is essentially telling Dr. Murray is that he wanted to take any money that he would have gotten from entertainment and use that to open up a children's hospital that he would have called the Michael Jackson Children's Hospital. Most important, though, Michael notes that a lot of children's hospitals don't even have something like a game room present for kids to have fun and enjoy themselves. So as a result, there are a lot of sick children in hospitals that are depressed, and Michael wanted to do something about that.
And that will remember more than my performances. My performances will be up there helping my children. It's always been my dream. I love them. And I love them because I didn't have a childhood. I had no childhood. I feel their pain. I feel their hurt. I can deal with it. Heal the world. We are the world. Will you be there? The lost children. These are the songs I've written because I hurt, I hurt.
This part is also very important because it shows that Michael wanted to be remembered more as a humanitarian than even for his music or performances. Michael also told Dr. Murray that he had written several songs such as Heal the World, We Are the World, and Will You Be There because of the pain that he was feeling as a result of children suffering. So this shows you just what kind of a person Michael Jackson was and how amazing his heart was because even in a state that wasn't so great, his main concern was still helping people, specifically children. Now, you may be wondering where Michael got such a generous spirit from. And the truth of the matter is, it's actually something that was within him from the time that he was a child. In her 1991 book, My Family, the Jacksons, Michael's mother, Katherine Jackson, tells the story of Michael and his siblings opening up their own little candy shop once they started getting a weekly allowance from their father, Joe. Only Michael was selling his candy for the same price he got it, which means he was basically giving it away for free because he wasn't making a profit. Mrs. Jackson also noted that Michael loved and adored his teachers so much that he was actually taking her jewelry and giving it to his teachers so that way he could express how much he cared for them. Mrs. Jackson wasn't too fond of that, but hey, it's the thought that counts, right? Mrs. Jackson also noted that once the family moved to their Encino property, it didn't take very long for Michael to start his own miniature version of Neverland as he opened up a candy shop where kids could get treats and goodies for free. And of course, as you guys all know, the motto at Neverland was nobody pays for anything. Most important, however, Mrs. Jackson recalled watching a documentary on the state of Africa with Michael when he was just 14 years old. The documentary brought the both of them to tears, and when it was over, Michael looked at his mother and told her that he was going to do something to help them. Several years later, Mrs. Jackson noted that Michael surprised her with a trip to New York City. And while they were at the airport, she saw tons of boxes full of food, goods, and emergency supplies being shipped to Africa, which meant Michael kept his promise all those years later, something that made Mrs. Jackson incredibly proud. Aside from helping the children of the world, what Michael really wanted was a National Children's Day to honor kids the same way mothers, fathers, and veterans get honored. As we said earlier, Michael was a humanitarian at his core, and there are plenty of stories that reflect that. We'll continue to tell these stories, but in the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and remember, facts don't lie, but people do.